Hello and welcome to Scottish Meta. This is a video report from a tournament that I attended recently in Nightly Gaming in Lanark for Dragon Ball Super. I'm Joe, playing on the right, and I have with me Lou.
Hello everyone.
Lou didn't attend this tournament but is part of this channel, so...
Yeah, so I'm basically going to be here asking Joe questions about his game and how he feels certain plays went for him.
So, this was actually my first tournament ever for this particular game. I've only picked it up fairly recently, but I've fallen in love with it. I don't remember exactly what I kept in my opening hand, but I mustn't have been particularly great because I don't really do anything for the first few turns. And when my opponent charges the cell, I know that I'm probably not going to be keeping most of the cards in my hand since I can't really get them out in the early turn. So I'm playing against Mira, that you might not be able to see from this. My opponent forgot to put the create android card into his discard. So I'm playing against Mira, which is why there's androids here. And I'm playing Pan, mono red Pan myself.
So, going into the game, did you think the Mirror Android match was good for you, or was it a deck that you were sort of unsure about?
I knew that I would probably be okay because Pan draws quite a lot of cards herself and can recover. But in this particular game, like I said earlier, my hand was fairly slow to start with. Here's a little tell I accidentally did saying I wasn't going to be comboing. Probably better not to do that in the future. My hand was fairly slow, so I wasn't going to be getting rid of most of my cards before I was forced to discard down to 3. I kind of held off on attacks for the first few turns, and I don't know whether that's correct or not. I still haven't played enough of this yet, but at this point my opponent has already charged an Android 18 and has just searched up an Android 17.
Yeah, I was going to say that looks like Android 17 that's been found out via the cell there.
Yeah, so by the Duro. Yeah, so for the cell chain you need one of each of those androids. If my opponent's charged one in his energy, then I'm fairly sure that he has another one in hand. You can see that on the camera that he does. So at this point I just started attacking in.
Yeah.
So I played the Miraculous, whatever Gohan that is, and drew a card from Pan's ability. When I attacked with him, I didn't draw a card because I could tell I was going to get celled on the next turn. So just did double strike to my opponent instead.
Okay, so you felt that the loss of the extra cards would probably be a bad thing.
I don't know whether it was correct or not, because if I'd have drawn the card I would have had more options to play with.
Okay.
One of the things I should have probably done, knowing that I was going to be discarding cards, was just comboing with them. It wouldn't really matter in this case because my opponent didn't combo against me, but when I attacked with Pan, it was 10,000 into 10,000, so they could have easily just discarded one of their cards to stop from taking a life if they needed to.
Yeah. So, we're turn 3 at the moment, and you're on 6 life. Your opponent seems to be on 5?
My opponent's down to 5 now after I've attacked a few times. So this is the first stage of the cell chain, which KOs one of your opponent's creatures.
Battle cards.
Creatures, you know what I mean? Battle cards. I'll get the terminology right at some point.
That's the Magic player and Joe coming out.
Yeah. So here I've already started deciding what 3 cards I'm going to be keeping after the perfect cell comes out.
The cell, yeah.
Yeah. I had to get rid of a lot of good things. I think there was some super combos and fearless pans. But I kept the best tools I thought I had. But yeah, as I was saying, my opponent was attacking me to be able to use their leader ability to draw cards, which is why I'm down to 6. I possibly could have defended myself against those as soon as I realised I was going to get celled. That would have meant less cards in my hand from... That was just a mirror coming down now, making me discard even more, putting me down to 2 cards.
Yeah, so that's a cell and a mirror. A perfect cell and a mirror on the table.
My opponent only attacks with their mirror leader, just to stop me from awakening on the next turn, and also to keep cards out of my hand. I think that was a fairly good play. I'm now starting the turn with 3 energy, which is not enough, and only 4 cards in hand, so I'm forced to charge one of my other super combos, which was really painful. Yeah. So that's 1 charged and 1 in the energy, 1 in the drop area. But I did have a Time Patrol Trunks, which, along with Pan's ability and the Time Patrol Trunks ability, allows me to draw 2 cards from playing 1 card. So, with some selection as well, which is fairly good.
Okay, so it lets you keep your hand a little bit more stocked.
Yeah, it's a good way to kind of recover. The Overwhelm cards are a good way to recover from the forced discard that Cell seems to do, which comes up in the later games as well. Here I tried to put pressure on the Cell. I don't have any cards in hand to combo with this really, to put further pressure, but at the very least it's making my opponent discard cards if they want to protect their Cell from my Jiren.
Is that Jiren you just played?
Yeah, so sorry, that's Jiren, who the first time he attacks a battle card he readies and gains plus 10,000 power.
Oh wow.
So I only attacked into Cell. He can also attack readied battle cards. So I only attacked Cell the once because I only go up to 30,000 the first time I attack him. So they've awakened. They're just about to get back a mirror, which I'm not happy about. I think they're agonizing over a mirror, or... Oh, is this something else? Oh, this is them comboing when they're attacking me to get extra cards in their drop. I think this is slightly later on. No, that's to defend themselves from my attack. They get back the mirror and then combo over the top of it. Okay. I forget to send my Time Patrol Trunks to the warp at the end of this turn, but this is now back to my opponent. I do remember later it doesn't have a effect on the game, so don't worry about that. There we go, remembered now. Mira is attacking into Pan again. Has critical now, so I don't even get that card back. Mira forgot to draw when attacking. I'm now getting attacked by the double striking Cell. I think I make a mistake around about here. I'm not 100% sure. I know I make a mistake at some point. Yeah, I awaken here, which is far too early.
Not the situation you want to be doing it in.
I awoke so that I would have the 2 mana in case I was attacked again, because he still had all of his energy left at this point, to prevent a double strike. This is where I make a second mistake. So my opponent's just giving away a big tell there by counting their drop area, so that I know that they are looking to play something. The only thing they could be wanting to play at this point that they don't have enough cards for is a Scientist Fu. If I'd have negated this first attack with a topo, then there was no way they could have comboed to get extra cards in their drops. There's no way they could have played the Scientist Fu this turn.
Right.
So I would have stayed at 2 life, but instead I go down to 1 life, and when they play the Fu, I negate that attack instead. I was just double checking at that point to make sure that the Scientist Fu, this particular version, isn't the one that you can't counter, and it's not. So I counter with the topo, which also allows me to draw another card with Pan. Annoyingly, my opponent still has 3 energy untapped, so I'm going to have to go all out now that I'm down on 1 life to try and finish them off with up to 3 counters and what looks like a few super combos in their hand.
I mean, I've lost track of the amount of games of this I've won on the last life, and just throwing your entire card pool at it, so...
Yeah, so here I'm trying to go all out. I do forget another important thing later, but I don't think it particularly matters. So I play the Quick Rush Trunks to draw a card, and then play the Pan to give everyone double strike and plus 5,000. I don't know whether this was correct or not, but I attacked in with the critical double striker first. So this is probably the biggest threat. So my opponent's most likely going to defend against this. They didn't counter, so I assumed that meant they didn't have any counters.
Right.
But I only comboed up to 30,000, which is not too difficult for them to stop, given the energy they have available in their number of cards they have in their hand.
I mean, Pan giving everybody 5,000 and double strike is sort of one of your deck's win cons, right? So
yeah, it is the main win con in this deck is to swarm the board and then attack. Here's the second mistake. Topo readies when he after he KOs a battle card, so I should have attacked into Dr. Giro to try and just clear off any possible threats to me next turn if I don't win this particular turn. My opponent could have comboed like this to protect the Dr. Giro, which would have meant that I wouldn't have been able to ready to attack Mira. So here we go again. Jiren readies when he attacks, so I'm trying to wear down my opponent's hand by just taking out their threats. Because of Pan, Jiren's a 35,000 when he attacks Cell. My opponent was just clarifying here the auto from Jiren, making sure that if they negated the attack, then would I still ready myself, and I do.
yes, because Jiren is a heavy hitter.
He's a very, very heavy hitter. Which also does tell me my opponent has a counter in hand, so I know that I'm not going to win this turn. And there's the counter, stopping Jiren from attacking. I only have Pan left, who is not double strike, and my opponent's on 2 life, so there's no point in attacking here. The important thing that I did forget for this first game is that Pan has blocker, so I could have just blocked this first attack with Pan. I don't think it would have really helped and saved the game. I'm on 1 life and my opponent has enough cards to kill me just with even Dr. Giro attacking here, so... There's a couple of small mistakes that I made, but in the end I don't think they really would have changed it around and helped me survive this game. And here's what you were talking about, your favourite thing of going all in for the combo. I don't know how big this is, but it's definitely above what I can reach. So I comboed my Pan onto it, and that's all I had. So game 2.
You comboed Pan on instead of blocking with Pan?
The blocking step's earlier than the combo step.
Oh, right, okay.
In this particular game, I actually forgot that she had blocker.
Okay. So the tournament was best of 3.
Yeah, best of 3. So I think I sideboarded 2 cards for this particular matchup.
Okay. And after seeing what the Mirror Android deck does, you feel going into the second game you had a better handle on it?
I had a better hand to start with, at least. Still not getting anything done in the first turn, but I definitely wanted to be comboing more aggressively to make sure that I wasn't needlessly keeping cards in my hand.
Yeah, no, I understand that, yeah.
So I had to expect that I was going to get sold at some point, and I didn't want to be sat on a full set of cards in my hand and a few of my life when I got knocked down to 3 cards. So here's same as last time. attacking, drawing cards, comboing one of the new Gokus from the starter set that lets you draw a card when you combo. It's essentially a super combo that you can use all time but costs 1 energy.
Okay.
So I had a Bodyguard Legic this turn, which I could play now because my opponent has a battle card. It's an okay card, but with Pan lets you attack and draw a card for no energy. And I'm just putting some pressure onto my opponent, which is possibly a mistake, but I just want to try and get their life down, since the longer the game goes on, the more it probably favours them, was my read from game 1.
Right, okay, so you felt this was a bit of a slow burner deck.
Yeah, and not necessarily a slow burner deck, just if they had all the time they needed to get their combos, then I'm going to be knocked down to 2 cards in hand again, which is never going to be good. There's enough ways in this deck to search out the pieces that you need that I don't think that there's... One of my main chances of winning is just hoping that they mill or draw the perfect cells.
Yeah. So you've knocked 2 life off already?
3, I believe. Pan took 1.
3.
Yeah, Pan took 1, Legic took 1, and the...
And was one of those critical?
Drunks criticaled the third one.
I'd be hesitant, personally, to throw critical in against a deck that likes to use warp.
Yeah.
I think it would be something I would at least consider not swinging with, because you're sort of fueling part of their mechanic with that.
Yeah.
But you also need to win, so...
So here they didn't attack Pan, they attacked into my trunks, and then overwhelmed a Masked Saiyan who, when he comes into play, kills one of my, well, sends to the warp one of my battle cards. So they've cleared my board away now, which is definitely what you need to be doing against Pan. As you said earlier, the main win condition is to play the Fearless Pan and give everyone, like, boost everyone up and give them double strike. So here I was just checking a few things on my opponent's leader. They have exactly 5 cards in the warp, so when they awaken and get a card back, which is their super combo, they only have critical when they have 5 or more cards in the warp, so now they're down to 4. And I also believe the super combo can only be used when you're at 5 or more cards in warp.
Okay, so you've robbed them of that then?
Yeah, by awakening they removed that card from their warp, so they're down to... They can no longer use their super combos or have critical until they overwhelm again.
Okay.
But, as they pointed out, Masked Saiyan will go to the warp at the end of the turn, so...
Okay.
It really only slows them down for that one turn when they're attacking. It just means they don't have critical when they attack me, which I was thankful for the extra card.
Of course, yeah. So we're just entering turn 3 and your opponent's already awoken, so you've got to be feeling a bit happier.
Yeah, so it's not massively a problem. I'm more trying to... So at this point, now that they are going to have the cell combo, I'm making sure that I keep their board clear. Attacking with Pan into their Jiro and comboing a double shot Vegeta who comes into play. I already presume I'm going to get celled, so I start separating the cards I'm going to keep. I'm not discarding as many this time, only 3. I think last game I discarded like 4 or 5. My opponent laughs and confirms, yes, I am going to get celled. So the first cell kills my Vegeta. So here I was actually double checking the wording on some of the cards in my hand, because I had my own Scientist Fu at this point. I think that the only way that I get to the required cards to overwhelm Fu into play is when my opponent attacks and criticals one of my life. I need to discard the 3 cards when they attack me, and then get rid of a Topo, Vegeta, and a super combo. And again, I believe there's a mirror coming in. And there's the mirror. Getting rid of another super combo. So mirror attacks, comboing the other mirror in, which criticals the 7th card so that I can play the Scientist Fu. These were what I sideboarded in.
Scientist Fu.
As a way to... I swapped out some Mass Saiyans which only KO battle cards up to 5 energy, because the main threat my opponent has is the Perfect Cell, which costs 7. And yeah, here we go. Warping those, bringing in Scientist Fu, which along with Pan's ability essentially draws 3 cards when you...
Okay.
That is a very good way for me to recover from the massive loss that Cell has put on me in the previous turn. And is also a double striking threat himself. So no combos from me because I'm down on cards and need to keep my hand. Here's my opponent showing off because they can actually use super combos rather than having to just discard them all the time. And back to my opponent, with me remembering to actually overwhelm my cards. It looks like my opponent had a Fu of their own, but having already overwhelmed twice, there's not enough cards for them to get it out, because you need 7 in your drop, which is quite a lot really.
So he's overwhelmed 7, or he costs how many energy to play in?
So Fu costs 1 energy, but you need to overwhelm at least 7 cards from your drop area to play
Okay,
him.
so you have to overwhelm.
Yeah. I think you can pay the cost as well, but you want to pay 1 energy. That's the... I don't know anybody who's ever paid the full cost for Fu. So this is a Chilling Terror Android 17 who stops you from drawing cards when you awaken. Unfortunately, Pan untaps 2 energy when she awakens, so not really doing anything in this particular game.
So Fu has an energy cost as well then, he doesn't... You don't have to bring him in by overwhelm, or you have to bring him in via overwhelm?
No, you can pay the cost as well on the top, but
Is it a ridiculous cost? Is it?
Yeah, I think it's something like 7. I don't know
Okay.
off the top of my head. I kept the Topo to protect against the Cell, which also draws me another card, keeping me at the bare minimum I have. And here's my favourite Gohan again, drawing away another card from Pan, becoming a 20,000, and attacking into Mirror. I chose to draw this time because as I've said a few times, I'm down on cards, so he's only a single strike. And Topo comes in. So I'm giving my opponent lots of cards, but I'm knocking them down to a low health when I'm still at 5 and they're at 2.
Okay, so we're at 5-2 at the moment.
And importantly, unlike last game, I'm actually keeping energy untapped, so I decided to take this game faster in the initial turns, but then slowed down in the later turns. And I do think that Pan works better when she's being played slower, which is something I learned for the later games in this tournament.
Okay.
So here was a second cell chain going off. Luckily for me, my opponent missed. There was no further cells in there.
Oh, so it's in his life.
It's either in, yeah, I think the final 5-drop is in his life, which probably saved me this game.
That is unfortunate.
As I said earlier, though, when you're churning through your library so fast, it's bound to happen.
Yeah.
You're probably only going to have one shot in this, unlike the other cell chain decks. So here I make a little bit of a mistake, I think. I take the life to go down to 4, which is fine. I believe that was critical, which is why it's over in my drop him out of my hand.
Okay.
And Chilling Terror is attacking me. I can't remember whether I awaken now, or... No, I just combo over this. Okay, this is correct. And it looks like some overall nastiness is coming since my opponent's counting. And since I've got 2 energy untapped, my opponent's checking what Topo actually does.
So your deck's running Pan with Topo, Jiren, and a few versions of Goku and Gohan, right?
So I had 8 cards that come into play on my opponent's turn. So there was 4 Double Shot Vegeta and 4 Topo. I only had 2 Jiren in this. They were a last minute add-in. There's I have Quick Rush Trunks, Chain Attack Trunks, and Fearless Pan. There's the Gohan, who can be a draw card or double strike. And I have a few other odd things, like I've got the Saiyan Kaba.
The Goku.
The Super Saiyan 3 Goku. As well as the Time Patrol Trunks, just a few overall cards to benefit Pan's ability. So here is the kind of perfect Pan turn that you want to have. I wasn't forced to awaken on my opponent's turn, which means that I can awaken to get more energy for the big turn that I want to go in for the kill. So I also get to use Pan's ability twice to draw cards on the front and back. So this is Chain Attack Trunks bringing in a Fearless Pan, which means that
your opponent just got sad.
I now have,
yeah.
You can see he's not. I think at this point he says, I don't think I'm going to survive this. Since there are 3 double strikers, which are 2 of them are plus 10,000 power, I think. The Time Patrol Trunks isn't double strike because it's not red, but there's still enough of them to get through my opponent's defenses here. Yeah. So I managed to win game 2, so we're now on to a third game.
A game apiece.
A game apiece. But now, for the first time with my opponent on the play. Here I kept 3 cards. I think that's the same as in the second game. And my opponent has the same start as always. Searching out the androids that they need to murder me. And they start off disappointing me by showing me that they're going to mirror me at some point soon.
Just give you that fear. You don't know when, but it's coming.
I charge a double shot Vegeta, attack with Pan, and save the energy. I'm pretty sure this was a weird hand where I had like all 4 of my double shot Vegetas after mulliganing.
Okay.
I mean, they come into play when I combo with them and let me draw a card on both turns, but not ideal.
They cost you 1 to combo, or?
Yeah, so they cost 1 to combo plus 10,000, and if your leader is red, after the battle they come into play, which will then, on my opponent's turn, trigger Pan's ability to draw a card. So here I tried to combo before my opponent, revealing that I did have the Vegeta. And back over to me. Vegeta trying to get their beats down. Pan coming in for some more. And Critical Trunks, drawing me a card. Here I probably... I wasn't sure whether I should be attacking into my opponent to knock them down to 4, but since they haven't overwhelmed yet, there's not likely that they're going to awaken. So I felt kind of safe knocking them down to 4. And I comboed a little bit just because I was expecting to get celled, and I don't want to be discarding all of my cards at the very least. And here I start separating out what I'm going to keep after cell comes down again. And my opponent attacks with the Dr. Jiro, which throws me off. I can get rid of some of these cards to actually be useful. And again, because there's no cards in the warp, Mira is only attacking at 10,000 power. Just because they don't want to awaken.
That combo with that's combo with a 17 and an 18 though.
That's comboing with all the spare pieces of the cell chain, showing that they had a spare cell, a spare Android 18, and a spare Android 17.
It's kind of him.
Very kind of him, showing that, look, I could have done this twice if I had the energy. So the cell comes down and takes away the Critical Trunks, which is the more sensible of the options. I'm still trying to determine what my third card is going to be, forgetting that I'd already seen the mirror, so I knew I was going to be going down to 2. Making sure I've got the right selection, and throwing away a third double shot Vegeta and the Goku that is essentially a super combo.
So did your opponent sideboard between rounds, or did he just stick with his deck?
My opponent did. I can't remember what they brought in. I think it might have been the Chilling Terror androids, but they might be in their deck anyway.
Did your opponents find dealing with set free cards difficult because it only came out the day before in the UK?
Yeah, they had only been released like the week before this tournament actually was in the UK. My opponent's leaders from set 3. The super combos, the negates, the mirrors, half the cards in my opponent's deck are from set 3 as well, so.
Okay, so he had a bit of a grasp of what was going on.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, as most people over here do, may have got their cards earlier than the release date through importing means.
Yes.
Although I only did that a little bit because I do want to support our super friendly local gaming store, Common Ground Games.
Cha-ching.
this turn I actually didn't charge, I kept at 3. Oh no, I did charge up to 3. I forgot my opponent went first. And just tried to draw cards with Gohan and keep back to a reasonable hand.
Is that 5 plays 2?
5 plays 2, but my hand is a lot smaller than my opponent's. So here is a second cell coming through. I do actually have more than 3 cards, but I can't remember whether they go the whole way, whether they just wanted to get down the bigger creature to kill one of my threats. So Mira attacking in with critical, drawing another card. I forgot that it was critical, so drew the card to my hand by accident. Yeah, so I think this is the game where I make a mistake here. I didn't awaken when my opponent first attacked me.
Okay.
Which means that I don't have any energy untapped. I was going to be taking that life regardless because of the few number of cards I had in my hand, but if I had awakened I would have had 2 energy up so that I could either pay to combo or if I have the topo negate any further attacks. So now I've been knocked down to 2 and I've got a double striker coming in. Without the energy to negate this attack, I'm just going to have to hope that I can combo over my opponent. And they've got a lot of cards.
You don't have the opportunity to awaken here?
I can't awaken before negates. No, awakens only during the combo step. So my opponent goes all in, and I do my best. So there's a chance I can get out of this with the super combos I have, but I end up being 5,000 short in the end, so losing to my opponent.
Oh. So a 2-1
loss. 2-1 loss for me, yes. And that is the end of this round. So hopefully I'll be able to get the next few rounds uploaded and commented before the next tournament, which is happening this Saturday. If you have any suggestions on ways we can improve, please comment below, and all the usual like and subscribe. Thank you very much, and good night.
Thank you very much. Bye.